Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shadows.
So we have a light object falling into shadow that goes to middle. We have a middle object in the light. That's a middle. They're touching here. It's this leaf.
That's right. They do.
Right?
Yes.
We just bring that right into here.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of that shape. Now there's this soft edge where it transitions into a dark coming towards us. Hard edge where this is a cast shadow, soft as this is rolling away from the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do that cast shadow there. Soft edge coming towards us that way. That way we have a cast shadow dropping on it, object coming forward, dropping out of the light.
Yeah, see, I would have put a hard edge on the bottom left.
Well, he sort of has one.
Yeah.
I think it's
Bottom left, I
pretty
think, right
hard.
there. This is a hard edge against that transition. So I haven't quite painted that edge yet, but when I do, it's going to look like this edge. So it's going to be very hard there, and then as this goes to the dark, it's going to be a softer and softer edge, right? Because it's got more in common with that. So it's a hard edge of the transition, which is no edge at the end.
Okay.
So it's a graduating edge. And I see a spot of a dark right in there, strong dark, but I'm going to connect that into the rest of this dark so that I don't have so much of a spot there. I'd rather have a shape. So I'm going to open up my idea of what a dark is and not just take the darkest spot and say everything that is, darker than maybe a 6.5 in here, I'm going to make that the dark, make it all the same value, and then I have a nice connected shape of a dark instead of a spot.
And you're doing that locally. You're not saying everything 6.5 on the whole canvas would be that. You're saying in this area.
We could take it either way.
Okay.
Whatever's good for the design I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's the example where you kept the value the same and just pushed the saturation. So that's why.
I pushed the saturation and also changed the temperature quite a bit. So I have an ochre, which is almost the complement of that that rose color. It's almost a purple to yellow kind of complement going on in there. There's too much thickness on the bottom of that brush stroke, so we're not seeing the colors tangle quite as well when I get back at this. Wow, they're tangling so beautifully. You can't even see it from back there. Go up and look at that spot of color. You get a project.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me.
So back here, it's all kind of blending together.
Yes.
It makes a value note, which is great, but then you go up and there's that really beautiful vanishing edge that you don't see from that.
That's the shadow part, right?
Yeah, that's
Because
the
it's going to come 10, 20
Okay, which is-
line, so.
It's
I mean,
not
that's-
a dark.
it is a dark. I've sort of invented a lighter version of this dark transition.
All right. Okay.
So I pushed some darks in there and transition them out towards the middle.
Towards the
So
middle,
to get
okay.
a little bit of
All
description in there. I'm going to set the shape of the light as it moves through here too. There's a sort of a translucent quality where these petals, some of the light's falling through them and pushing into yellows in here. I want to just pull some of that up. So I'm going to do it again with saturation of this yellow rather than so much value. I'm going to take pretty much the same value that I have on this lit white, but push the saturation up in here to give more of a sense of, so more saturation where I want that transmissive quality, and then less as it goes grayer over here. So I found a place to connect this rose into this leaf. It's only one spot. connecting it also up a little bit from here into, I'd like to move that shape of that light up there. Just because I wanted to confuse the area of the boundary of one to the next, that felt a little separated because of the local color change.
Yeah.
So I just dropped a green in there that made the green on both parts of that, and then transitioning out of it, just for fun. But it's not just fun, I guess. It also serves a purpose of keeping that shape of light as one shape and making sure that the eye travels off of one object onto the other. So we've got us traveling down. Again, these are spots of light up here that are transitioning down into middle as they follow the local value change of the stem. It goes from that light green up near the flower down to a red. We're still going to have a lit side and shadow side. The shadow side of that can remain dark the whole time, or it could transition up to a middle. You could do that either way. I think I'm going to keep it dark because I like it dark up against the middle of these flower petals in here.
We know what the subject is, but it's just not a depiction.
Oh, no.
It's really a painting to explore.
Yeah.
It's what? A really what?
A painting to explore, to let your eyes float around it and look and see, because because of the design and these little. I so enjoy the little squiggly lines that represent the little leaves coming off the stems. It's a very nice touch.
Thanks. Yeah. It's, so when you have a dark that is there's less dark than you have of your middle and light. So less than a third of the painting is dark. Right. In this case, less than a quarter of it is dark. Maybe just slightly less than a quarter. That dark shade is going to take on more importance graphically. So, so you really want to give a lot of consideration to where those darks are going to sit and how beautiful and elegant and descriptive are those shapes going to be. The less of it there is, the more you're using the power of that as a descriptive force. The more of it is, there's more middle in this, right? In this setup.
Yes.
Our middle's not a very descriptive force because of that, right? Now, our middle, and I love a painting with a lot of middle in it, with a descriptive dark like that and a descriptive light, and let those come together, because the middle is the part of the palette where we can really explore color and let that communicate at a distance the best. All the most beautiful colors from the distance on a painting are going to be the middles. All those darks, no matter how much rich, beautiful color I push into those darks from back here, are going to read as a dark. The lights, they're going to show me the local color of this stuff. The middles, I can do anything. I can play through that whole range. So a painting that has a lot of middle in it is a great opportunity for someone who loves color and bridges and getting from here to there and just putting one thing next to each other. A painting with a lot of middles is a great opportunity for a colorist. The sense of light on this piece is being made out of the difference between the lit versus the unlit part. So I can't push those middles lighter without losing that sense of light. But the darks, because they're a separate object than most of what I'm painting in here, I can push all of that lighter and still not lose much of that sense of light. So, you know, kind of a nice thing to do, but on the other hand, you do the some of the impact of the scene, and I like having the impact too.
If there's one step, or if there are two steps between the light and the middle, do you do 2 steps between the middle and the dark? Or could you do 4 steps?
Well, you do whatever you want.
You do either one.
Yeah. In fact, I could keep my middle and dark exactly the same here and just lighten up my dark, and I'd have a much more harmonic, restful kind of subject. You just have a little less impact to it, which can be great too. You know, it would have been a fine choice.